First of all, to introduce myself to the very few people, I'm sure, here that don't know me, I'm Simone Ilger and I'm chair of the NAC's Health and Wellbeing Committee. It's all right, I'm going to do the slides now, Roland. Thank you for your help. Right, before I put the next slide on, if you're of a nervous disposition, please look away. But I just want to remind you why I feel I'm sort of qualified to try and sell the idea of Fit for the Future for you, and the fact that you all should, well, no, not that you should, but for your own sakes, you should, lose weight and try to move a bit more. I'll get rid of that picture quickly. Oh, sorry. It's a picture of me when I was probably about 4.5 stone heavier, and a picture of me as I was a year ago in my bikini, so sorry you're missing out. I'm about a stone heavier than I was this time last year, but I'm working on it. Okay, so the next picture is a picture of a sloth snoring gently on the grass. Who can identify with that picture? Right, so let's do something about that, shall we, for those people that are feeling a bit sleepy and a bit sloth-like. And I can assure you I'm not going to get you to run around the block or anything. So, as you heard from Mark earlier on, and it was great I didn't plan with you this speech, but it's almost like I did. But things you can do while you're just sat here, do some big shoulder rolls, obviously not if it's going to do any damage to your body, but forwards or backwards. Just sort of sit up straight. We've been sat here all day and go forward again. And the other picture is just side neck movements, just side to side. You've been staring at the front all day. Who thinks that feels great? Who wishes that they did that on a regular basis? Because it does sort of just revive you a little bit. Okay, so for those of you that are friends of mine on Facebook, you know I like my recipes, don't you? And I like to share my recipes. So I thought I would share one of my recipes with you if you'd like me to. So it's a recipe for a revitalised thalidomide body. And it's quite a simple recipe. You need some ingredients. The first one is 1 achy, despondent thalidomide. Oh, there's that sloth again. You need an accessible and relaxing environment. You need 32 enthusiastic participants. You need 4 interactive and informative workshops, 6 knowledgeable experts, 1 swimming pool session, and here's what you do. First of all, you ensure that the achy and despondent thalidomide is keen to participate and registers their interest in the event on the appropriate booking form. The method: you add the achy despondent thalidomide to the accessible and relaxing environment with the other participants. You stir together gently. Add the knowledgeable experts one at a time, continuing to stir to ensure all the ingredients are mixed, and then whisk briskly until slightly invigorated. Divide the ingredients between the 4 interactive workshops and continue to stir gently to achieve a smooth consistency, removing any major concerns or lumps. Allow the mixture to rest for an hour. Add the remaining workshops and whisk to a frenzy. You can use your electric whisk at this point. We want a nice froth. Place all the ingredients into the swimming pool session and allow all pain to dissolve. At this point, you may want to add a sprinkling of laughter and a dry towel or two. And I think we've got something called noodles that we're going to put in, but they're not the sort you eat. Remove the ingredients and rinse thoroughly before cooking at 21 degrees until nicely risen. Allow to relax overnight. Finish off with a final stir, adding lots of praise, a good dollop of positivity, and plenty of knowledge. Ongoing mutual support will ensure that this recipe is an all-round success. Make sure you share the recipe with all your thalidomide friends. And that is what Fit for the Future is about. My next slide is a little sloth going, yeah! An invigorated sloth. So, before I tell you any more about Fit for the Future, I'm going to tell you about the Swedish exercise project that you heard about earlier on. So before I do that, I just want to remind people that I'm going to just say they had a dream. Daphne White, stroke Allen, I'm not quite sure how she likes to be known, but it's either or, had an idea probably about 7 years ago to have this event. And Susan Kent, who's well known for her enthusiasm, and Liz Buckle too, joined in and talked and planned this event. And here we are 7 years later, and I think it's going to happen. The difficulty is, in the meantime, the Swedish have blooming overtaken us. They've planned their event, held their event, and they're now sharing the results. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about that. But of course, the good thing is we can look at what they did. We can make ours better. So the Swedish exercise project, they called Wellness for Body and Soul, a lifestyle course for persons with multiple limb disabilities. And theirs didn't just involve thalidomiders, although it was mainly thalidomiders. It involved people with other limb differences. It was a 3-year joint project organised by four organisations, and it was funded by the Swedish Inheritance Fund. It was a lifestyle course in 3 stages over the course of a year in 3 different areas of Sweden, with between 11 and 15 participants attending each event. And why did they hold this? Well, the same reasons that we want to, really, is that many of those with multiple limb disabilities report that they need support with finding a healthier lifestyle, a suitable fitness regime, and understanding weight management in a way that is tailored to them. And the goal of this project is to inspire participants towards a healthier lifestyle, providing the necessary knowledge and tools to achieve better health and well-being. And another thing they recognised was ageing with disabilities. It's important to keep a healthy lifestyle to avoid additional complications or problems. So you're talking about your diabetes, your high blood pressure, your heart problems. The way they did it was to have a 3-day-long camp 3 times a year, and it was residential, with group lectures about healthy food, weight management, pain management, and stress. And there were opportunities to try out fitness training, such as Qigong, water aerobics, Tabata, strength training, workout, Pilates. I'm sorry, but the poor old interpreters are having an awful time here. They've never heard of these words. I've described a little bit about the exercises there, but basically it's gentle exercises involving relaxation, stretches, keeping yourself flexible. It started off by getting everybody to fill out a lifestyle questionnaire. So with an individual health coach, hang on a minute, which enabled individual health coaching with a professional coach. And each of the participants set themselves some personal goals. So, for example, it might have been to stop smoking or to lose weight. And they were each provided with a personally tailored training plan, and they had the opportunity to join in group discussions about pain, weight, stress, etc. Personal goal setting, and then evaluation and follow-up. So, participants found a form of exercise and a location that suited them. They exercised and worked on their personal goals in between attending the 3-step lifestyle course. They supported each other, and although inspiration and knowledge are provided, the really hard work has to be done by the participants themselves. So the results was that a local exercise group, a Pilates group, was set up in Stockholm. Health promotion has been implemented as part of the X-Centre rehabilitation plan. And the work of FFDN, which is the equivalent of our thalidomide trust, becomes more health-centred in its approach. And the participants' results was there was a change about the way they thought about food, the way they dealt with stress, the way they did exercise, and the way they dealt with their pain. They changed their diets. They used mindfulness as part of this process. They lost weight. They started up a daily fitness routine, and they experienced less pain. So here are just some of the results. That one participant lost about 1.5 stone, which is 9 kilograms, and experiences less pain in their back and neck, and has realised that a big part of their pain was caused by the extra weight they were carrying. Another participant lost 2 stone, 5 pound, 15 kilograms, after the project leader, Anna Karin Lagerstrom, who I'll tell you more about later, had an education day for this person's personal assistance about exercise and healthy diet. And participants learned how to exercise safely without the risk of worsening their pain, and it made a huge difference to participants' lifestyle, reducing stress and reducing pain. Oh, right, okay. I don't want to play that just yet. Hope it doesn't start up. It's going to be a video. So, just check how I'm doing for time. I'm all right for a little bit. So, Fit for the Future will be an exciting and informative beneficiary-led weekend, which will be held over the weekend 15th to the 17th of April 2016 at Burley Court Hotel and Conference Centre in Loughborough. You don't need to make notes. I've got some flyers which I can hand out later. So it will tell you all of this. The objective of the weekend is to empower thalidomiders with knowledge and tools to enable them to make informed choices in order to maintain or increase levels of independence and promote pain reduction. So as you've heard several times today, as we're aging, many of us start to experience increased levels of pain, loss of flexibility, loss of function and weight gain. And whilst this might be a common complaint for many people who reach middle age, for thalidomiders, these issues may cause further difficulties in reducing their mobility, the ability for them to self-care, and our ability to remain as independent as we might like to. And exercise might be difficult or even impossible, and a number of us are relying more upon wheelchairs and more support from other people around us. So this weekend we'll bring together experts in the field of exercise for people with disabilities, nutrition and diet. And this won't just be about listening to people telling us what we need to do or how to change our lifestyle. It's not about a quick fix or setting unachievable goals. It's about understanding that taking small steps in managing health and fitness in a way that fits each person's individual life and routine can lead to long-term changes and increased health, sense of well-being, empowerment and self-esteem. Thalidomiders will share their own experiences and stories of things that they have found to help them with pain reduction, weight loss and regular exercise. So the agenda will include Anna Karin Lagerstrom, who you've heard about, who basically led the project in Sweden and who has put together this wonderful book, which my very good-looking assistant over there is going to, my assistant over there is going to pick up and twirl around with the book. Oh, where's the book gone? Oh dear, sorry, but you know, I obviously didn't pay him enough money. There's one copy of the book there that anybody can take a look at over the course of this weekend. It's really interesting and it's beautifully put together. So she is an expert in her field. She played an integral part in the Swedish exercise project that I just spoke to you about. And some of the other speakers and experts, we're hoping to have Ian Mulrooney, who's a structural integrator and sports injury therapist, Trevor and Joe Strutt, husband and wife team, who are Pilates osteopath and Pilates instructor, Carol Adkins, who's director of the Berkshire Physiotherapy Centre, Nick Webborn, who's the sports and exercise medicine lead at the Centre for Sport and Exercise Science at the University of Brighton. And these are people who are already working with thalidomiders, one or more, and they've got a specialism in sports and exercise for people with disabilities. So I think the weekend will start off by exploring what people hope to achieve over the course of the weekend. There will be a chance for everybody, as you heard in the recipe, to be shown some hydrotherapy exercises. We'll be looking at massage, learning about the benefits of Pilates and other exercise, and the very important part that diet and nutrition plays in keeping our bodies and minds healthy. We're going to have 2 personal trainers available who will talk about their role and give individuals exercise exercises tailored to them. And hopefully now, I'm going to try this, I don't know if it will work. So a little video to show you the Alter-G treadmill. No, maybe no. I don't think it's going to work. Or can I go back?
Click on it.
Move. Click on it. Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, hang on. Something's going on. Oh, here we go. There's no sound, but this shows above-knee amputee using the treadmill for the very first time. He's never been on it before. It's quite hard to describe, but the clear box that you see underneath him is filled up with air, and he's sitting in a pair of Wallace and Gromit-style trousers, which mean that it's completely airtight around his waist. So he is supported by a big cushion of air. You could support 100% of your body weight, depending on how fit you are. But here he is, slowly building up to a run on the treadmill. And I've had a go on this, and I've used a regular treadmill, and this is wonderful. You couldn't get me off of it almost. It was just a feeling of freedom, and I felt like I could just carry on running forever. Well, if you've not exercised before, and if you're carrying a lot of additional weight, or if you've got a difference in your limb length, such as I have, this is a great way to just start moving, gently at first. And we're hoping to have the Alter-G treadmill there. It's a shame you can't hear the sound, because this chap just basically says it's the first time that he's run in 9 years since he's had his amputation. And his face says it all, really, which is he's clearly delighted at it. We're hoping to have beneficiaries there to share their own experiences of what works for them. And I know that in the room here, we've got some beneficiaries who have found an exercise that works for them, or who have lost weight by different methods, but who can tell you what a massive difference it makes. And for some of you, that won't make a difference. You need to do it for yourselves. It doesn't matter how much people try and encourage you to do it. And you'll do it in your own time. I have to say, I haven't spoken. Put your hand up if you're any men in here who've lost considerable weight, because I haven't talked to any men. So sorry, men. I think there's about 4 or 5 women I know who've lost stones. And okay, Carl's waving his microphone in the air. Sorry, Carl. But you're falling behind, you chaps. We're also going to have 1 or 2 personal assistants for the duration of the event who will be there to help people, because we recognise that it's going to be quite physical. They'll be changing in and out of swimming costumes. We want to give people the chance to have help with carrying food and opening doors and things, because that will leave you more energy to participate in the activities. And the weekend's designed primarily for beneficiaries of the Trust, but we recognise that some people will want to bring along their own personal assistants or family members to help them. And we won't discourage them from attending, but there won't be a specific programme laid on for them. And in fact, it would be helpful for them to be there if they're going to be part of your ongoing programme of change and encouraging you to keep it up. There will be a charge to beneficiaries of, we've decided, £200, which sounds like a lot of money, but that's 2 nights in the hotel. The charge will be only to the beneficiaries attending, and will cover everything. And the rest of the funding will come from the Departments of Health, who I think are very much supportive of what we're trying to do here, understanding that we've got the health grant, but some people need to be encouraged to use it in a way that is going to work for them. And there's only going to be a maximum of 32 beneficiaries on this weekend, I'm afraid. So next weekend, the Trust will send out forms for you to fill out to register your interest in the event. So please do hurry up and send them back. And if there is more interest than we have places, then we will look at repeating the event. And just to remind you that I've got these little handouts here that just basically give you all the details about time, date, and what we'll be doing. So that is Fit for the Future. I've probably got a little bit of time for any questions.
Number 2. Yeah. Can I ask a question? The Alter-G treadmill.
Yeah.
Where does one find out if there's any near to them? Because it doesn't look like the sort of kind of thing that every mainstream kind of gym or exercise place might have available. Yeah.
If you look on the Alter-G website, which is a international website, You put in your postcode and it does actually tell you about any near to you. I know that the nearest to me, which is probably the nearest to you, is Chiswick, or I think there's one in Hemel Hempstead. So they are quite a distance, and I think they cost, I think it's something like, don't quote me on this, but something like £40,000. But I think they are starting to pop up all over the place because they're very useful for top athletes who've got injuries and need to keep on training when they're injured. Yeah, like you, Carl.
Can I just chip in on that to say one of the things that we've discovered is a lot of football clubs have got the Ultra G machines because if footballers get injured, they want to try and help them get back to full fitness without putting pressure on. And one of the things we're looking at is whether we can try and negotiate with some football clubs to have sessions that are available for disabled people to use, because I think they're just sitting there not being used a lot of the time. So we'll keep people posted, but I think they are growing and it would be good to try and find ways of getting access to them.
Can I ask you a question?
You can.
I still haven't asked mine.
Hazel?
As the Department of Health is funding part of this project with Fit for the Future, has it ever occurred to the Department of Health the lack of facilities in general in towns for disabled people to access fitness centres? Like, if I go to my local gym, there's practically nothing I can use there. Whereas, like, if I could use my manual chair, you do actually get gym type things and all-round, these all-round fitness gym contraptions that wheelchair users can use. But they're not in any local gyms, anywhere. They're usually in a hospital or rehab centre.
My answer to that would be, and Hazel's probably going to disagree with me and hate me forever, but is when people think of exercise, they think of gyms. They think of, that's what people think of as keeping fit. But I think we're just encouraging people to move more than they move at the moment. I think a lot of local authorities are aware that their facilities aren't great for people with disabilities. A lot of local authorities do have paid officers who work at making sure that they work with people with disabilities to ensure better access to leisure facilities. They're far from ideal, but I think the way that you can make things happen is to contact the local access officer, make yourself known to them, say that is something you'd like to do, and say, I'm happy to work with you to find some sort of exercise that I can do. Because I think that's the main thing, is that leisure centres have changed a lot, but as anyone that knows me well knows, my little gym is in my garage, and it's very impressive. Yeah.
Right.
Mandy's just asking a question now.
I'm interested in the treadmill because I've had a go on treadmills, right? Does that actually hold you in place whilst you're running?
Yeah.
So you don't fall off the back?
No, you can't. To try and describe it for you, Mandy, you know the baby bouncers?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a baby bouncer, but you're not held from above. You're supported from beneath on a cushion of air.
Right.
So if you can imagine a massive marshmallow that your feet go through into a sort of a hole. Like I said, it's really hard to describe. Even if you've been able to see that video, you still don't understand how it works. But if you can, I would really try and find one near you. I've got, like you, I don't want to fall over. I don't want to overbalance.
Well, no, and it's worse for me because I can't even see. So therefore, to keep the pace,
no, you
I'm
are
off the back before
You're supported round your waist, and they can basically increase the amount of pressure it takes off you or decrease it according to what you feel comfortable with. So they could, and they can increase and decrease the speed. But hopefully, if you come to the Fit for the Future event, you can have a little go on one. And the staff are brilliant. The staff that bring it are brilliant.